Here we go. Video number 3 on how to tend to your relationship garden. Today, it's all about taking ownership. And it's a very simple exercise. This is going to be a short, laser-focused video on really looking at how do you show up in your garden. I want you to take a piece of paper, make a list, 1 through 10. These are the pleasant ways that you think you show up. After that, I want you to make a list, 1 through 10, can be right next to the other list. What are all those unpleasant ways that come to mind when you think of how you show up in the space between, in the relationship garden, in that field where you and your partner come together? So I borrowed this exercise. It's called Taking Ownership. This is from Stop Overthinking Your Relationship. My beloved colleague, Alicia Munoz, she's written another book. This is a fantastic guide. It's helping me a lot in my relationship. She's also an Imago therapist. And she has a list here. Here's some examples that you might come up with. Pleasant. Are you kind, thoughtful, optimistic, hardworking, forgiving, understanding, trusting, caring, loving, hopeful? Or maybe you've already done your list and you don't need to hear this. Go ahead and stop the video. But if you want a few more ideas of what might show up, what might populate your unpleasant traits list, here's some examples. Grouchy, thoughtless, pessimistic, irresponsible, perfectionistic, punishing, controlling, self-absorbed, cynical, hostile. Ouch. Write them down. That's step 1 of this exercise. And then give your list to your partner. Your partner has done the same exercise. My partner did this the other day, had a hard time coming up with 10. So I said, you need at least 4. Whereas I'm like, I have so much to say about things, but we're different, right? We are not me. It's an important relationship tip to remember. So my husband came up with 4, and I looked at him and I put little stars next to him. He took my list and he starred 4 that jumped out to him in both the pleasant and the unpleasant list in terms of how he experiences me. That's step 2. Give your list to your partner and star 4 from both the pleasant and the unpleasant list. And then step 3, I want you to take a shirt, that's what she suggests, and use a Sharpie and write on it, a white t-shirt, undershirt, or what Mark and I did, we just took a piece of paper and we wrote at the top, kiss me, I'm ... and then write down the 4 unpleasant traits that you self-identified, that your partner agreed, yeah, you show up like this sometimes, and tape them to your shirt and walk around with them. And I went ahead and wrote the pleasant ones as well, put them on the back, and had us walk around with those as well. Working with some couples this week, giving this exercise, a number of people had a difficult time coming up with pleasant traits about themselves. Ouch, that concerns me. So remember, we're letting go of blame of self and other. We're appreciating self and other, and we get to really step into and take ownership, own it. How do I show up in the world? Am I instrumental, detrimental, or inconsequential? Those are big words that I sometimes think about when I'm going through a doorway, not always. A more simplified version is when I come in, am I pleasant or unpleasant? In this era of Zoom, this time that we've all been so much more on the computer, I often wonder if my screen froze, what is the image that I am projecting to the world? It sure gets me to smile a lot more. So write those down. What I was starting to tell you about my couples this week is when they had trouble coming up with the pleasant ones, I had them put that on the front of their shirt because they would see that more likely, if they're looking in the mirror or looking down. What are the things they haven't identified within themselves? So have fun with this, play, the take ownership game. Aloha.